Hello and welcome to the Soil Health Boot Camp and Applications to Vegetable Production webinar series. This webinar will cover insect and mite pests that may be encountered in vegetable production systems. My name is Raymond Cloyd. I'm a professor and extension specialist in horticultural entomology, plant protection in the Department of Entomology at Kansas State University. Vegetable production systems are ecosystems full of ecological interactions with both good and bad insects interacting. This image shows two commercial vegetable production systems, one indoors in hoop houses and one outdoors. Insect and mite pests can negatively affect vegetable crops by 1. Reducing yields, 2. Lowering quality of produce, 3. Increasing the cost of production and harvesting, and 4. Requiring input associated with material and equipment to apply control measures. There are a number of common insect and mite pests of vegetable crops, including caterpillars, beetles, suckers, and borers. We will cover most of these insect pests in detail. First, we will talk about caterpillar pests. European corn borers primarily pest of sweet corn. The adult female, on the left, lays eggs that eventually hatch into larvae. The larva, on the right, can tunnel into the plant stem. The tomato hornworm, as shown in this image, is a major insect pest of tomatoes. Diamondback moth larvae feed on plants in the cabbage family, including bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, and kale. When the wings are folded, the adult, on the right, has diamond-shaped markings on the back, thus the common name. Imported cabbage worm larvae, as shown in this image, also feed on many plants in the cabbage family. This image shows different caterpillar fecal deposits, or caterpillar poop. The poop on the right is processed by an early larval instar, whereas the poop on the left is processed or produced by a later instar larva. Note the difference in the texture of the poop. This image shows an adult Colorado potato beetle. Colorado potato beetles are one of the most important insect pests of potatoes. Colorado potato beetle larvae, as shown in this image, also feed on potatoes. Flea beetle adults, as shown in this image, feed on many different vegetable plants in the cabbage family, especially those planted early in the season. Common asparagus beetle is the primary pest of commercially grown asparagus. This image shows both the larva on the left and an adult on the right. This image shows the nymphs and adult of the harlequin bug. This insect pest feeds primarily on cold crops, including broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and kohlrabi. The adult striped cucumber beetle adult, as shown in this image, feeds on watermelon, muskmelon, and cucumber. This insect serves as a vector for bacterial wilt, a serious disease of cucurbits. The adult spotted cucumber beetle adult, as shown in this image, also feeds on watermelon, muskmelon, and cucumber. The spotted cucumber beetle adult, like the striped cucumber beetle adult, serves as a vector for bacterial wilt. This image shows a blister beetle adult feeding on eggplant. High populations of blister beetles can cause significant damage to eggplants. Both the nymph on the left and the adult on the right stages of grasshoppers, as shown in this image, feed on many different types of vegetable crops. Aphids are sucking insects and tend to feed on the leaf underside. Aphids, depending on the species, feed on cabbage, pea, and potato. Aphids serve as vectors for a number of viruses. This image shows both the two-spotted spider mite and damage they can cause to tomato plants. Two-spotted spider mites feed on tomato, squash, pumpkin, and cucumber. Two-spotted spider mite populations tend to be more severe during hot, dry weather. Squash bugs are consistent insect pests of pumpkin and squash. The eggs, the image on the left, are laid on the leaf undersides, and both the nymphs, center image, and adult, image on the right, feed on plants. This image shows a green stink bug adult. Stink bugs feed on peas and tomatoes. The greatest damage occurs when stink bugs feed on the fruit. Leafhoppers are insect pests of certain vegetables. The primary leafhopper pest is the potato leafhopper, with both the nymph and adult causing damage to beans. This image shows the adult stage of the lygus bug or tarnished plant bug. This insect pest removes plant fluids and injects toxins into plants. Lygus bug feeds on beans, potatoes, and even asparagus. This image shows both the adult and larva of the squash vine borer. This insect pest may be problematic in squash or pumpkin fields. The larvae tunnel into vines, destroying the water and food-conducting tissues. Consequently, vines wilt and die. Winter squash, especially Hubbard, is very susceptible to squash vine borer damage. This image shows squash vine borer larvae inside the plant stem. This image lists 2 resources that you can refer to for more information on insect and mite pests of vegetable crops. Well, that concludes this webinar on insect and mite pests of vegetable crops. I do hope that you enjoyed the seminar and were able to obtain some useful information. If you have any questions or comments associated with the webinar, please do not hesitate to contact me. My contact information was provided in the title image.